Hi everyone, this is Skywatch meteorologist Justin Kier. We have a life safety situation to discuss with you, particularly for the Saluda County area. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for central Saluda County until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Let's take a look at Skywatch Doppler radar. We'll talk specifically about some of the details here that we're following. Now you can see the red polygon on your screen. And let me zoom in here to what we're talking about specifically. This area right here over central Saluda County. Now the exact location of this particular thunderstorm cell as it continues to track off towards the northeast is about 22 miles west of the Batesburg area as well as 9 miles west of Saluda. It's moving northeast very quickly at 50 miles per hour. So this is a storm that is capable of producing tornadic activity as well as the potential for damaging winds and hail. You can see kind of a curvature there on the radar. Certainly that's a concerning feature as we take a look at Skywatch Doppler radar. But overall, the threat for the entire Midlands of South Carolina, we do have a tornado watch in effect for the entire viewing area until 6 p.m. this evening. But the immediate life safety risk is for portions of Edgefield County and into our viewing area in Saluda County as this storm continues to track very fast at 50 miles per hour towards the downtown Saluda area. It could be arriving here very shortly. Again, this warning is in effect over the course of the next 21 minutes until 3 p.m. this afternoon. One of the things that you need to do if you're watching us from the town of Saluda or western Saluda County, so some locations that need to be on the lookout are right along Highway 378 in Saluda, Highway 178, Highway 194, as well as portions of Highway 121 to include some other locations. Let me put the polygon back on here to include Aldums, Saluda, and just to the north of the Ward area and just to the north of the Batesburg-Leesville area, extending into portions of Lexington County beyond that with a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, what you need to do is take cover now. If you live in the central Saluda area, move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. Do not go towards your window and look out the window at this time. That would be a dangerous situation. A lot of glass can break, flying debris, and you can find yourself injured and in a bad situation. If you're outdoors or you know somebody that's outdoors in this particular area of Saluda County, a mobile home is not a safe place to be. A vehicle is not a safe place to be. Try to find the closest substantial shelter that you can, whether that's a local community center, a local store, a neighbor's home, or something like that, and try to protect yourself by getting into the most interior room of that particular location that you can. In terms of some information coming in for the National Weather Service office out of Columbia, we're still seeing rotation indicated here within this particular storm cell. This is a very potent one as it moves into Saluda County. We're still not seeing a exact detection of a tornado signature on radar just yet, but the potential is there based on what the National Weather Service folks are seeing in terms of criteria as it relates to a severe thunderstorm. Now, beyond the tornado warning, you also notice this area right here, this yellow polygon, that is a severe thunderstorm warning, which is an extension of the portion of the cell which could potentially be tornadic, and some of this follow-on storm system behind it in Edgefield County. Now, we could be seeing damaging winds, not just tornadic potential, so we could be seeing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. There is the potential for hail with this particular storm, as well as a lot of lightning. Let me turn on the lightning indicator. You can see lighting up the sky here, particularly in Edgefield County. All of this is moving very quickly towards the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Now, as we interrupt your programming, we understand that not everyone watching lives in Saluda County and is wondering why we are interrupting your broadcast at this particular point in time. Please bear in mind that this is a life safety situation, so no apologies there in terms of having to give this public service, but we do want to recommend that everybody watching this at this particular point in time keep in mind that every county in the Midlands is under a tornado watch until 6 p.m. this evening, meaning that what we're seeing right now in Saluda County is possible between now and 6 p.m. throughout the entire course of the Midlands. But right now, the most immediate life safety situation continues to be in the Saluda County area. And let me point out specifically where we're talking about here. Rachel, I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat that to me in my earpiece. Certainly. In terms of this red polygon area here, we're talking specifically about central Saluda counties. Keep in mind that this is about 22 miles to the northwest of the Batesburg-Leesville area. Now, this is moving very quickly, so it's a rapidly developing situation. I'm hearing some beeps in my earpiece, so let me check in with the National Weather Service chat really quickly here. Rachel, let's take back Skywatch Doppler radar here. You see that red polygon indicating a tornado, a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado in association with this severe thunderstorm warning that was issued just prior to this tornado warning. So what does all of this mean? Well, if you live in central Saluda County within that red polygon area, many of these locations are rural outside of Saluda, but keep in mind that if you're traveling along Highway 178, Highway 378, Highway 702, Highway 39, Highway 194, 178, 121, these are all areas that have the potential to be impacted by this. Now, we're getting some updated information here from the National Weather Service. It appears that there may be some debris showing up on radar, which is never a good sign, which means that we could be talking about a radar-confirmed tornado. Now, whenever you see debris in there, that means that things are being put up into the atmosphere. It could be trees, could be debris, things along that line, which is an indication that we are not only dealing with a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, but it appears that we could actually have a radar indicated or confirmed tornado with this particular cell. So that just adds an even higher level of credibility to this particular warning from the National Weather Service. You can see it here. A lot of heavy reds showing up on radar just to the west of the town of Saluda. So if you live in Saluda, this is a life safety situation. The National Weather Service is putting out information saying that they're seeing some debris signatures on radar. That's a very strong indication that there has been some damage, whether it's trees down or just flying debris that's showing up in addition to the precipitation indicated by radar. So what does all of this mean? Not to go into weather geek speak here, but let's talk about the life safety aspect of this. Again, this thing's moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So when the warning was issued several minutes ago, it was 22 miles west of Batesburg and 9 miles west of Saluda. This thing is rapidly approaching the Saluda area at this particular point in time. We're just getting new information. They've canceled the back portion of the warning for Edgefield County, which is outside of our viewing area, but if you live in Saluda County, that warning remains in effect until 3 p.m. this evening. So we've got 15 more minutes left on this particular warning. We are seeing signs through the National Weather Service of debris within this, which means that we are seeing perhaps a radar-confirmed tornado located near or over the Saluda area, about 16 miles northwest of Batesburg, moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. We're talking about a damaging tornado if we're seeing debris here. We're also talking about the potential for flying debris, so please find a safe place to be. Mobile homes, keep in mind, can be damaged or totally destroyed in a tornadic situation. Damage to roofs, damage to windows and vehicles can occur. Tree damage is also likely in a situation like this. And please bear in mind that if you're watching this now from the town of Saluda, this is a life safety situation. You need to find a safe place to be, get away from windows, find the interiormost room of a sturdy shelter. If you're outside, get into a safe place, whether that be a community center, a convenience store, a church or something like that, a neighbor's home. Keep in mind that mobile homes are not a safe place to be, and please find a safe place to be. The interiormost room of your home, away from windows, and the lowest floor of your home are the safest bets for you if you live in Saluda. Let me put the warning back up here. Again, we're talking about geographically a relatively small area, but still a good chunk of Saluda County. Now, again, there are a lot of highways impacted by this, so not only folks that are on the ground or in homes, but also folks on the road could potentially be impacted by this. And I know this is a developing situation, so we want to continue to relay information. We realize that not everybody watching this lives in the Saluda County area. However, we're talking about a radar-confirmed tornado in association with debris, so this is a very dangerous situation for folks living in central Saluda County, particularly along Highway 378, Highway 121, Highway 194, Highway 702, Highway 39, Highway 121, and Highway 178. So it's illustrated here by this red shape that you see on your screen. This is a tornado warning in effect for central Saluda County all the way until 3 p.m. this evening. Rachel, do we have some late-breaking information? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. In terms of this, we're also getting some reports of the possibility of hail, perhaps in excess of 3/4 of an inch, so some significant hail with this. Also, I do have some concerns about not only the tornadic activity, but the possibility of damaging winds in association with this particular cell. Wind signatures prompted the severe thunderstorm warning, which was issued just before the tornado warning, meaning that we could be seeing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Keep in mind that the National Weather Service folks have told us that they're seeing debris indications showing up on radar, which means that things are flying in the atmosphere, which is a good indication of tornadic activity. So if you live over the town of Saluda, or in the town of Saluda, excuse me, or points due east, this is a very fast-moving storm, moving at about 50 miles per hour towards the northeast. So if you're in central Saluda County and you're moving, or you're living in northeastern Saluda County, keep in mind this is going to be headed your way as well. The town of Saluda, no doubt, in a dangerous situation at this particular point in time, which is why we break into programming. Also, for those of you watching that are not in the Saluda County area, keep in mind that a tornado watch is in play throughout the entire forecast area until 6 p.m. this evening, meaning what we're seeing in Saluda County right now is possible throughout the course of this afternoon and early this evening in other locations across South Carolina. A lot of storms over portions of Georgia are moving towards South Carolina. This is the first round of them. We could be seeing additional rounds later this afternoon moving into other counties across the Midlands of South Carolina. I would also say that folks living in Newberry and northern Richland and northern Lexington counties certainly need to keep an eye out for this particular cell as it continues to track off towards the northeast and even to an extension of western Fairfield County over the course of the next hour to an hour and a half. As we take a look at Skywatch Doppler radar, once again, I've got that area circled, the current tornado warning, which is a current life safety situation with debris indicated on radar, which again, for those of you that may not know what that means, we're talking about a radar-confirmed tornado producing damage and flying debris, whether that's trees, homes, or other items floating around in the atmosphere being blown around by this very potent storm system is to be determined. But again, specific locations, primarily Saluda. And again, we're also seeing wind and hail in association with this particular cell and the potential for that. This thing moving very quickly. At last check at 2:43, the system was located at 16 miles northwest of the Batesburg area. No doubt has moved a decent amount of geography in that period of time between now and 2:43, which was about 6 minutes ago. So let me pull back the warning here at this particular point in time. We're still seeing the leading edge of this thing, perhaps over Saluda, perhaps crossing over Saluda at this particular point in time. Also for the far western shores of Lake Murray, that's not a safe place to be, particularly on the Saluda County side of Lake Murray. Thinking just to the north of areas of 378 as well as Highway 194 and Highway 391. If you live in far western Newberry County, I would be very cautious with this particular cell. Even if it is not a tornado producing cell, by the time it gets to Newberry County, it does have the potential to be generating some very strong winds aloft and down towards the surface. So places in Newberry County that need to keep an eye out for this one as it moves towards you, perhaps Silver Street, Stony Hill, Prosperity are some locations that come to mind immediately as this continues to track off towards the northeast. But right now, the tornado warning currently in effect for Saluda County as it continues to push off towards the northeast at a very fast pace. So not only is the storm producing damaging winds, but also we're talking about a storm that's moving very quickly, which could be impacting numerous areas over central Saluda County over a short period of time. So again, we're talking about what appears to be a radar-confirmed tornado according to the National Weather Service. We are seeing signs now, according to the Weather Service, that maybe some of the rotation is weakening just northwest of Saluda, but still seeing debris on radar, meaning that this is still a very dangerous life safety situation. And according to the Weather Service folks, we could still be dealing with a tornado that is likely on the ground producing damage. Whenever you have debris showing up on radar, that's usually an indication that you've got a tornado on the ground producing damage. And again, just to outline some of the areas here and what you should be doing if you live in the town of Saluda or near the town of Saluda, particularly points northeast of Saluda, you need to be seeking safe shelter immediately. The most interior room of your home, the lowest floor of your home. Get away from windows. Do not attempt to look out the window. Glass can easily break in a situation like this and slice you. If you're outside, please bear in mind that you need to find a safer place than to be outside. If you live in a mobile home, you need to find a safer place than a mobile home, as tornadoes very easily can destroy and damage mobile homes. At this particular point in time, we're dealing with a situation that could very much be a reality in central Saluda County. Now again, this warning is in effect for the next 8 minutes over central Saluda County. Let me pull back the warning here. We also do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Newberry County as well as portions of far western Lexington County in association with an extension of the storm beyond the particular portion of the cell producing a tornado. So what does all of this mean? This means that if you live in central Saluda County, you need to take action immediately if you have not done so. Keep in mind that we could be seeing some very heavy rains in association with this, so it may be very difficult to see something coming. So do not wait to hear. A lot of people always think of tornadoes sounding like a train or something like that. Do not wait to hear that noise to take action. Take action immediately if you live in central Saluda County. Again, I mentioned the fact that the entire forecast area has a tornado watch in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. That means that we could be seeing conditions like this in other portions of our forecast area between now and 6 p.m. This evening. So bear in mind that even if you're not in Saluda County, if you're points east, points south, points west in the Midlands of South Carolina, you could potentially be seeing the possibility of more activity like this. As we look back into Georgia, they've had numerous tornado warnings, particularly southeastern Georgia earlier this afternoon. I noticed that the Weather Service in the upstate of South Carolina has issued a tornado warning for what appears to be portions of Lawrence County going into other portions of the upstate. So this is certainly a situation that will likely quickly evolve over the course of the next several hours. We have at least 3+ hours left of conditions like this across the Midlands of South Carolina. And Rachel, is there information that you're passing along to me in my earpiece? Let's take a look. Let's try to summarize things here very quickly. Again, we've got an active tornado warning in Saluda County for central Saluda County, impacting the town of Saluda and points to the northeast. A lot of prominent roadways in Saluda County impacted at this particular point in time. Keep in mind that we still have several minutes left on an active tornado warning, which has had signs of debris, meaning that we have a radar confirmed tornado. Whenever you see debris, that's usually an indication that a tornado is on the ground destroying things like trees or homes or properties, things along that nature, and the radar is picking up the debris into the atmosphere. So if you're living in central Saluda County, this is a life safety situation. We realize that many folks watching right now do not live in Saluda County, but please bear in mind that your friends and neighbors in Saluda County need to hear this life safety information at this particular point in time, because this is a very dangerous situation. Also, bear in mind that if you live in other portions of the forecast area, a tornado watch is in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. So what we're seeing in Saluda County is possible in every location across the Midlands all the way through 6 p.m. We also have a flash flood watch in play until 8 p.m. this evening, meaning that any storms that do develop have the potential to produce heavy rain shower activity capable of producing flash flooding across the Midlands of South Carolina. Now, in terms of this specific storm, if you are in Saluda County and you are within that tornado polygon, please have a way to receive updates through the National Weather Service, whether that be a NOAA Tone Alert Weather Radio, the Skywatch Weather app, or some sort of phone application. And please bear in mind that you need to seek safe shelter immediately if you've not already done so. Do not wait to hear the storm. A lot of people wait until it's too late, until they hear the train noise of a tornado or something like that. That's a bad idea. Get away from windows, into an interior room of your home, the lowest floor of your home. If you live in a mobile home, that's not a safe place to be. If you're outside, that's not a safe place to be. And bear in mind that if you have any friends and neighbors on the Saluda portion of Lake Murray, that this is a situation that's quickly approaching that area. So whether or not we have tornadic activity once it gets to Lake Murray, it will still be a very strong thunderstorm by the time it reaches there. And again, this is an evolving situation. We anticipate that further down the road, places like western Newberry County, even Fairfield County, portions of northern Lexington County, and maybe even northwestern Richland County need to keep a close eye on this particular thunderstorm cell. Whether it's tornadic or not, later down the road, it does have the potential to produce damaging winds, hail, perhaps a tornado, and some other impacts as well. We're getting some updates from the National Weather Service, so let's take Skywatch Doppler radar back here full screen and see what we've got coming in from the National Weather Service, folks. They have issued an aerial flood advisory for portions of Saluda County until 5 p.m., which is an indication to us that, in fact, there not only do we have tornadic activity, strong winds and hail, but we're also seeing a lot of heavy rain shower activity, which makes the situation even more dangerous because it makes it even more difficult to see potential tornado on the ground or headed towards your particular location. So again, please exercise caution. I know we're repeating a lot of the same information here as it relates to this particular warning. Let's see, we're getting some new reports from law enforcement in Saluda County. Thunderstorm gust of about 60 miles per hour. That was reported about 6 minutes ago, estimated just to the west of Saluda. So regardless of whether or not you're experiencing tornadic activity in central Saluda County, damaging winds, which are capable of producing a lot of damage, aside from tornadoes, have been reported in portions of Saluda County. So not only do we have the tornado risk, but we also have the damaging wind risk, and that damaging wind risk is going to continue towards places like Newberry County, western Lexington County. Now, according to the Weather Service, they're beginning to lose the debris signature. That's a good sign. However, there could be kind of a re-strengthening of this particular cell, which means we could have a new tornado warning issued further down the line here. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Again, we've got 2 minutes left on this particular warning. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up, but we'll continue to monitor this particular cell. I do have some concerns that it does have some very potent potential even after this warning expires for portions of Newberry and Lexington County. So again, please, today is so vitally important to have a way to receive weather updates from the National Weather Service. And a good way to do that is through weather radios as well as the Skywatch weather app. We'll continue to keep you posted on social media. We'll interrupt broadcasting whenever we have tornado warnings issued, particularly those that involve life safety issues like the ones we're seeing currently in Saluda County. I'm Skywatch meteorologist Justin Kier. We apologize for interrupting your programming, but please bear in mind that this is a life safety situation with debris indicated damage on radar, indicating a radar-confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service. I'm Skywatch meteorologist Justin Kier. We're going to go ahead and return you to your regularly scheduled program. Hi everyone, this is Skywatch meteorologist Justin Kier here again. I do want to update you on a life safety situation across the Midlands of South Carolina. The National Weather Service has issued a new tornado warning for portions of our forecast area. Let's take a look at Skywatch Doppler radar, and we'll outline specific areas for you. We're talking about southwestern Fairfield County, eastern Newberry County, northwestern Lexington County, northeastern Saluda County, and northwestern Richland County. Now that is this area right here, this red shape that you see on your screen right here, and that warning is in effect until 3:30, so we've got a half an hour, or just under a half an hour with this particular one. Now, this was a thunderstorm which was impacting portions of Saluda County, and they've issued this warning to continue that threat downstream. Earlier this afternoon, this warning was producing a radar-confirmed tornado with debris in it, so this is a storm that has a history of producing damage. So we cannot underemphasize that enough. This is a dangerous storm. Now, this is going to be near the Prosperity area of Newberry County around 3:20. During our last cut-in, we were talking specifically about Newberry County being on the lookout here for the next warning issued, and this is what we're talking about right now. You can see this particular area. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you're watching us from particularly Newberry County, but also portions of southwestern Fairfield County, eastern Newberry County, northwestern Lexington County, northeastern Saluda County, and northwestern Richland County, is that you need to take cover now. You need to move to a basement or an interior room, the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. Do not go to the window and look outside. Do not wait until you hear what you traditionally think of as the sound of a tornado, because it could be too late by the time you hear it to take action. If you're outdoors, get inside. If you're in a mobile home, that is not a safe place to be. If you're in a vehicle, that's not a safe place to be. move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris, whether that's a community center, a store, a church, a neighbor's home, or something like that. Now is the time to enact that tornado plan that you and your family have worked on. Now, again, some specific locations. Let's talk about far northeastern Saluda County. We're talking about the Lake Murray area of Saluda County. Highway 194, Highway 391, Highway 378, Highway 395. And then as we cross over into western Newberry County, we're talking specifically about places like Prosperity. So this storm is moving very quickly and northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Whenever the warning was issued, which was about 5 minutes ago, the storm was located about 8 miles northeast of Saluda, or about 13 miles south of Newberry, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour, and again was headed towards the Prosperity area and should be there in about 15 minutes. So if you live in Prosperity, Stony Hill, if you live along Highway 395, 391, 194, in portions of Saluda or Newberry County, even portions of Little Mountain, please be on the lookout for this particular thunderstorm, which has had in its life cycle debris damage indicated by radar, meaning a radar confirmed tornado, meaning that this storm is producing damage so much so that radar is picking up debris, not just precipitation, whenever the radar sweeps go by. Again, some of the locations that also need to be on the lookout aside from portions of Saluda and Newberry County: Chapin, in portions of Richland and Lexington County over here. You can see this little sliver. Far northwestern Lexington, northwestern Richland County, right along I-26. I-26 is included within this particular warning. So I-26 headed towards Newberry, just north of the Columbia area. The National Weather Service is telling us that, and it would appear that way on radar as well, that rotation is beginning to strengthen again as the storm lifts into Newberry County. The storm temporarily weakened a bit. However, the possibility was there for this thing to re-intensify. It looks like it is in the process of doing so. And again, we apologize for interrupting your programming, but when you're talking about a storm which has debris indicated on radar, that means that it is destroying things. It was doing that earlier, and now we're starting to see the rotation strengthen once again, so the possibility is there that this thing could once again become a very potent storm, capable of producing a tornado. Also, law enforcement in portions of Saluda County were reporting winds near 60 miles per hour. Some reports of downed trees near the Washington Road and Dogwood area further back west in places of Georgia. So these storms have downed trees in Georgia. Also, a lot of heavy rain shower activity in association with this particular cell, meaning that it could be very difficult to see a tornado if you find yourself outside. Also, okay, we're getting new information coming in. This is very significant information from the National Weather Service. They're telling us now that another debris ball, which again is debris indicated on radar, is heading into Newberry County. Now, this is unfortunately what we suspected may happen, and it seems to be coming true at this particular time. What that means to you is that this is a radar-confirmed tornado, once again producing damage. So this is a significant life safety situation. Let me go ahead and reiterate some of the important lessons and actions to take in this particular situation. Please seek a safe shelter. Please get to an interior room of your home, the lowest floor of your home. Take cover now. Do not wait to see it. Do not wait to hear it. If you're on Lake Murray, or if you've got some friends on Lake Murray, particularly the Newberry area or Saluda County portion of Lake Murray, they need to get off Lake Murray. It's dangerous to be there. If you're in a mobile home, that is a dangerous situation. If you're in a vehicle or outside, that is a dangerous situation. Please find a substantial shelter, get away from flying debris, make sure that you have a place to go that is safe. Keep in mind, it could be a neighbor's house, it could be a community center, it could be a church, it could be a store. Find a safe place to be because, again, this is a radar-confirmed tornado producing damage as it approaches Newberry County, headed right for the Prosperity area. And again, it's this red polygon that you see on your screen. Some other locations in Newberry County that need to keep an eye out for this: Stony Hill, right along Highway 391. Highway 76 eventually once this gets near Prosperity. The Little Mountain area also needs to be very careful with this. And just beyond Prosperity is I-26. A lot of folks traveling I-26 at this particular point of time of day, whether it's to and from work or business or pleasure, what have you, that could be a potentially dangerous situation. Beyond Newberry County, western Fairfield County, portions of Lexington County, portions of Richland County also potentially impacted by this thunderstorm cell. Chapin is a location that certainly needs to be on the lookout for this in Lexington County. In terms of Richland County, maybe the White Rock area. Ballantine as well needs to keep an eye out for this. Highway 215 in Richland County, Highway 76 in Lexington County, and the Lake Murray area, particularly the western shores of Lake Murray. I believe that we do have some road cam video that we're seeing here. This is I-26, mile marker 98. One of the things that the National Weather Service folks did mention with this particular cell is that it is producing a lot of heavy rain. We saw an aerial flood advisory issued for portions of Saluda County. That means that, one, there's a lot of rain shower activity occurring, which could make it very difficult to see a tornado. Also, if you're driving through this, it could be a very dangerous situation. The phrase "turn around, don't drown" comes to mind. But again, as we talk about this, tornado warnings are issued. However, when they're issued and they're radar confirmed producing debris, that is an even more dangerous situation than a normal tornado warning, because what it tells us is that there's a tornado producing damage that is causing debris to fly into the atmosphere that is being read by the radar. It happened in Saluda County. It's happening again as it approaches Newberry County. So if you live in the Prosperity area, portions of western Newberry County, you need to heed this advice immediately. Please seek shelter now. Get to an interior room of your home, and you can see that red polygon illustrating the areas that specifically we're talking about. We do have some new information coming in from the National Weather Service. The fire department around 3:05 p.m. Was reporting a potential funnel cloud, also a wall cloud with a funnel near Highway 378 and Mount Willing Road moving northeast. Again, that was reported at 3:05. The current time is now 3:12. So please bear in mind that what these folks have seen could be coming to fruition as it relates to this particular cell. So what does all of this mean for everybody watching at home? If you're not in one of these areas, bear in mind that a tornado watch is in effect for the entire forecast area until 6 p.m. this evening. So what we're seeing now in Saluda, in Newberry County, could be happening in other locations across the Midlands between now and 6 p.m. We also have a flash flood watch in effect until 8 p.m. this evening, meaning heavy rain shower activity produced by these thunderstorms will make it very difficult to travel, could put you in a life safety situation. But right now, it's not all that often that we get these tornado warnings with debris signatures with them. So it's vitally important that we continue to put out and relay the information coming in from the National Weather Service. And we apologize if you do not live in this area, your programming is being interrupted, but please bear in mind that your friends and neighbors in Newberry and Saluda counties that are watching this are in a life safety situation at this particular point in time. We talked about Prosperity being a location that really needs to take heed to this particular warning. Stony Hill, Little Mountain, Highway 76, Highway 391, Highway 395, Highway 194, and portions of Saluda County, as well as portions of I-26. Beyond that, we could be seeing this crossing over towards maybe places like Pomeria, and perhaps even extending as far east as the far western portion of Fairfield County. Monticello Reservoir, Monticello are a few places that come to mind. Northwestern Lexington County is also included within this particular warning. Chapin, Highway 76, as well as portions of White Rock in Richland County. Let's take a look at some of our traffic cams that we're seeing here. I'm having a little difficulty seeing that because it's so dark, but that's an illustration of some of the storm clouds that you're seeing moving through there. You can see winds aloft. This is again I-26 west at St. Andrews Road, which is outside of the tornado warning. However, beyond that, certainly a potential life safety situation. We're also getting some new information coming in from the Weather Service folks in relation to the overall watch information. We'll relay that information later. That's not pressing information at this particular point in time. But We do want to point out again, if you're just tuning into us here, that we're talking about specifically a tornado warning which has approximately 16 minutes left on it for portions of Newberry, Fairfield, Richland, Lexington, and Saluda counties. The biggest threat right now is for Saluda and Newberry County in the immediate future, particularly the Pomeria area, as well as other portions of Newberry County. Just seeing some new information coming in as it relates to this one. The Prosperity area is the area that I'm most concerned about here. And the National Weather Service has also issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Fairfield, Lexington, Newberry, Richland, and Saluda counties. And that warning will be in effect until 4:15. That would include some of the areas around the actual tornadic portion of that storm cell, to include winds over 60 miles per hour possible, as well as a greater than 3/4 inch hail in association with the storms, as well as heavy rain. So we're talking about really kind of a five-pronged threat here. Primarily, tornadic activity is obviously the most pressing for some of these areas with a debris signature. However, wind damage could be prevalent. We could be seeing potential for hail, potential for a lot of lightning, and potential for flash flood conditions. So you're talking about a particularly dangerous situation here across this particular portion of the Midlands of South Carolina. Right now, the bullseye is over the northwestern Midlands, but we have a lot of storm activity back in Georgia, which could be moving into places like Aiken County later, portions of Lexington County and Orangeburg a little bit later this afternoon. And again, the tornado watch for the entire forecast area is in effect until 6 p.m. this evening, meaning that what we're seeing now could happen once again in other portions of the Midlands of South Carolina. Let me check out Twitter here. Just the National Weather Service relaying again some of the same information as they were before. Still radar confirmed tornado with a debris signature here. Let me get rid of the actual warning polygon and get rid of this. What we're looking at now is a storm cell which is approaching, again, the Prosperity area, as well as portions of the town of Newberry as well, possibly seeing some gusty winds at this particular point in time, and those folks would also be included within the warning. Check this out. This is which traffic cam is this, Rachel? This is 77 north, mile marker 23.5, and certainly you can see a lot of heavy rainfall activity occurring along 77. Now, 77 is outside of that tornado warning, so I do want to mention that. However, what you're seeing there is an indication of what we could be seeing, particularly during the rush hour time period as we head into the next several hours. The National Weather Service still seeing some tight rotation, near Prosperity with a debris ball. So a tornado confirmed on the ground based on radar, according to the National Weather Service. Prosperity and Pomeria in the path of this dangerous tornado, and that word cannot be emphasized enough. Dangerous tornado. Let me say that again. We're still seeing a debris ball with the confirmed tornado via radar, meaning that there is debris, there is damage in the atmosphere that the radar is picking up as this thing continues to travel, as opposed to this just picking up precipitation. So there are things flying around in the atmosphere which would indicate trees, hopefully not pieces of homes or whatnot, but items floating in the atmosphere that have been destroyed by this very active tornadic cell. We're also getting some new information, again, the Prosperity and Pomeria area. Okay, the National Weather Service has updated this warning area. They've essentially cut some of the areas down here, so they've dropped Lexington, Richland, and Saluda counties now, and are zeroed in on Newberry and Fairfield County. We still have 12 minutes left on what could be one of the most dangerous tornado warnings we've seen all year. We're talking about, again, confirmed via radar tornado. So again, what do you need to do if you are watching this? That is the most important thing. If you're watching this and you live in the Prosperity or Pomeria area, do not wait a moment longer to take action. Get to an interior room, get away from windows, seek safe shelter immediately. If you know somebody that lives in that area that is not taking action, please encourage them to do so. Do not wait until you hear a tornado. Do not wait until you see a tornado. Take action immediately. Get away from windows. Don't look out your window to see if it's coming. get to an interior room. If you live in a mobile home, that's not a safe place to be. If you live in a vehicle, that's not a safe place to be. If you're outside, that's not a safe place to be. Flying debris certainly can cause problems for folks outside. If you're on Lake Murray, that's not a safe place to be at this particular point in time, particularly near the Saluda-Newberry County line as it relates to that. So where do you go? A church, a store, a community center, somewhere safe. Wherever you've planned to go for a situation like this, that would be a safe thing to do as long as it's safe to do so. Please bear in mind that this warning still has some time left on it. We're still talking about a radar-confirmed tornado that is producing debris, which means that on radar, which normally reads precipitation, is seeing a debris ball, meaning that there's debris floating around in the atmosphere. So things have been destroyed, whether it's trees, whether it's property or whatnot, or other things are floating around in the atmosphere, which is giving an even stronger signature to this particular radar, and that's all confirmed via the National Weather Service. Now, I'm still hearing some beeps, so I'm going to go back to Skywatch Doppler radar here. And again, bear in mind that if you're watching this and you're not watching from Newberry County or Fairfield County and you're wondering why we're interrupting programming for so long, please bear in mind that your friends and neighbors in Newberry and Fairfield County need to hear this life safety information. So no apologies made for breaking into programming for this long, because it's not all that often that we get tornado warnings with confirmed debris, radar confirmed tornadic activity that particularly produce this dangerous of a life safety situation. We've seen a lot of roadways, even outside of this warning, which have had a lot of heavy rain, making travel very difficult. Keep in mind that the entire forecast area is under a tornado watch until 6 p.m., meaning that what we're seeing now could happen in other locations between now and 6 p.m. We also have a flash flood watch in effect until 8 p.m., meaning that the storms have the potential to produce a lot of heavy rain shower activity, which could, certainly inhibit travel, could pose a life safety situation if you're driving in a flooded roadway or something like that. But for those of you watching, I make a plea to you. If you live in Prosperity or Pomeria, please take action now. Please do not wait. Highway 76, Highway 176, I-26, right along that strip of I-26, these are all areas that need to pay particular attention, to take action immediately, to get away from windows, to take life safety action. Get to the interiormost room of your home. Get away from windows. Get to the lowest floor of your home. Please do not underestimate this warning. Do not underestimate this storm. It could be the difference between living today and tomorrow. As we take a look at this particular cell, we're talking about 8 minutes left on this particular warning from the National Weather Service, and quite frankly, it's possible that if this thing is still producing a debris ball and radar, that they will extend this further into portions of Fairfield County. Let's talk about Fairfield County for a second. Looking at the map here, if you live in the Monticello Reservoir area, Parr, Monticello, Highway 213, Highway 34, Highway 215, Highway 176, these are all areas that need to be on the lookout, because eventually this thing's moving quickly. It's moving at about 40 miles per hour towards the northeast, towards Fairfield County. So once it goes through Pomeria, once it goes through Prosperity, this thing is headed your direction. Whether or not it will be quite as strong or not is to be determined. However, that tornado warning is in effect for you, which means you need to take action immediately if you're watching from western Fairfield County. So again, folks, just to recap things, we still have several minutes left on this tornado warning. The reason why that we are doing this continuous coverage of this is we have a tornado warning with debris confirmed within the radar signature, meaning that we have a radar confirmed tornado which is causing damage. We've had reports of damage coming in from law enforcement. We've had reports of winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, even extending outward from the tornadic activity. So we're talking about tornadic activity, we're talking about damaging wind, we're talking about hail potentially greater than 3/4 of an inch, we're talking about a lot of lightning, and we're also talking about a lot of heavy rain, which not only makes it very difficult to see and hear, but it also makes it very difficult to take life safety action when you're trying to battle through rain. So please heed the advice of the National Weather Service. Pay attention to this warning if you live in if you live in Newberry County or portions of Fairfield County at this particular point in time, particularly the Pomeria area as well as the Prosperity area. These are areas that need to be on the lookout for this particular cell as it continues to move through. In fact, I would be willing to wager that things are not good in the Prosperity area right now, and they're getting worse in the Pomeria area as we head in to this particular point in time into the future. So we still have some time on that warning, and I would not be surprised to see the National Weather Service extend this warning, or at least a severe thunderstorm warning, beyond this. We're getting some new updates from the National Weather Service, so we take it now back to Skywatch Doppler radar here. A new tornado warning likely to be issued here further downstream. So that's kind of what we thought here. We're talking about a tornado warning, a very strong storm which has not weakened since it re-strengthened, meaning that what is currently on radar now is going to continue to track towards the northeast. So again, Fairfield County, you guys are next. So if you're watching us from Newberry County, it's impacting you now, particularly the Pomeria area. This is eventually going to be moving into western Fairfield County, the Monticello Reservoir area, Monticello, Highway 213, Highway 215, even beyond that, potentially to Highway 34. And we still have about 5 minutes left on the warning for particularly Newberry County going into western Fairfield County, but likely this is going to get extended in further into Fairfield County as we go beyond the 3:30 time period. So there's a lot of information being relayed here, and as we zoom outward, notice that we have a lot of thunderstorm activity back towards the west, which is why the Weather Service issued that tornado watch for the entire forecast area until 6 p.m., meaning what we're seeing happening now may happen later in other locations across the Midlands of South Carolina. So we hope this is an isolated event. However, unlikely that this will be the last of the severe thunderstorms across the Midlands of South Carolina. And the reason that we continue to follow this particular warning is that we have a debris signature within this, which means that we are seeing damage, we are seeing things destroyed that are being flown about in the atmosphere by a particularly potent thunderstorm cell, which is a radar-confirmed tornado at this particular point in time. So again, the warning area still covers the Prosperity, Pomeria, Jenkinsville, Monticello Reservoir area. And I think right now the area that really is probably experiencing the worst of the weather is just beyond the Prosperity area, headed towards the Pomeria area. Sometimes the radar imagery can be a minute or two behind, so bear in mind what we're seeing here, right here, kind of southeast of Newberry may have moved on a little bit quicker towards the northeast, so please bear that in mind as well. Overall picture again is a very active pattern. That blue polygon that you see is an aerial flood advisory that was issued for portions of Saluda County due to all the heavy rainfall that fell with the tornadic thunderstorm cell and the severe thunderstorm cell. Also, the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for portions of Fairfield, Newberry, Richland, Lexington, and Saluda counties. This is some of the wraparound structure to the cell, which is producing the tornadic activity in Newberry County, meaning that winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, hail greater than 3/4 of an inch, frequent lightning, heavy rain are all possible, in addition to perhaps isolated tornadoes within that yellow polygon that you see on your screen at this particular point in time. I'm not sure if we're doing a Facebook live feed or not. We're focusing in on the live cut-in broadcast here, but again, please have a way to receive weather warnings today. The thing to bear in mind is that more warnings could be issued, adjustments to the watch could be issued, meaning that you need to have either a weather radio, a weather app on your phone, be tuned into broadcast media, or follow this very closely online. Have a way to receive warnings as they are issued by the National Weather Service, particularly if we're having thunderstorms which are producing radar-confirmed tornadoes with debris signatures. One of the apps that you have there is the Skywatch Weather app, obviously, as you see the animation there. But again, just to help recap things, we're talking specifically about a tornado warning which still has a few minutes left on it for portions of Newberry and far western Fairfield County, and it's likely, according to the National Weather Service, that a new tornado warning could be issued, extending this warning into portions of Fairfield County. I just heard a beep behind me. Let me see what the update is from the National Weather Service. And yes, we do have a new tornado warning that's been issued by the National Weather Service. You can see that right here, an extension of the tornado warning that was issued in Newberry County, now extending into Fairfield County. This sliver right here extending further into Fairfield County. Let's see what the newest information is. This tornado warning is in effect until 4 p.m. This evening for portions of Fairfield County, in addition to portions of Newberry County, continuing the tornado warning from the one that was issued at 3 o'clock. So what we're talking about here is primarily western Fairfield County in central South Carolina, as well as east central Newberry County. This warning is in effect until 4 p.m. This is still a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. The location of this, 8 miles northeast of Prosperity, 12 miles east of Newberry. This was the mile marker 82 area of Interstate 26. Movement was close to northeast at about 40 miles per hour. And again, a lot of the same cautionary words have been thrown out there, but keep in mind some specific locations that particularly need to pay attention to. This is that the tornadic thunderstorm is mainly over rural areas of western Fairfield County and east central Newberry counties, but it does include some prominent locations. We talked about Pomeria, we're going to add Peak, and we talked about Little Mountain as well in the immediate future. And actions that need to be taken now. Do not wait to hear this thing do not wait to hear what you would think sounds like a train or something like that coming. Take action immediately. And the actions that you need to take are getting to an interior room of your home, getting to your basement, getting away from windows. Please do not go towards a window and look out the window if you live within this tornado polygon, because what can happen is the wind can shatter the glass and all of a sudden you're sliced up by glass or debris is flying around and you're injured when you could have been safely in an interior room of your home. Also bear in mind that vehicles are not a safe place to be. Mobile homes are not a safe place to be at this particular point in time, and certainly outside is not a safe place to be. So if you know somebody that lives in this area, you may want to give them a call and give them a heads up that we do have a tornado warning for this particular portion of the Midlands. And again, the reason that we're doing this, folks, I know a lot of people get upset when we do these long cut-ins, which we make no apologies for, is the fact that we're talking about a tornado warning with a radar-confirmed tornado that is producing debris. So this is a life safety situation for folks living in Newberry County, folks living in Fairfield County, and was a life safety situation for folks that experienced this in Saluda County just earlier this afternoon. So this is something that people need to hear this information. They need to take action immediately and do what they can to stay safe. So if you don't have a shelter or if you don't know where to go, please bear in mind that indeed the safest places to go could be a neighbor's home. It could be a community center. It could be a local store of some variety. It could be a church or something like that. Now is the time to enact whatever plans you had in place that you went over with your family if a tornado warning was bearing down on you in your area, specifically for portions of western Fairfield County and portions of east central Newberry County. Let me recap a couple of locations here really quickly. And again, we're talking about this red polygon that you see here, that red kind of triangular shape on your screen. If you don't know what we mean by polygon, the red shape that you see on your screen. And this is for western Fairfield County, east central Newberry County. This goes until 4 o'clock, so we've got 28 minutes left on this particular warning. This is a thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. We did have debris signatures with this earlier, meaning that debris was being strewn about in the atmosphere. The damage was being confirmed via some of the signatures on radar. And as we take a look at some of the specific locations that we're talking about, when this warning was issued just 3 minutes ago, Pomeria was kind of the key location, but also Peak and Little Mountain are locations. Some areas that I'm concerned about in western Fairfield County would be the Monticello Reservoir area, Parr, Jenkinsville, Monticello, Highway 213, Highway 176, and even Highway 34. We continue to get new information coming in from the National Weather Service, folks, including some storm reports. This one was reported by the public at 3:15 p.m. Some reports coming out of the Prosperity area of numerous trees snapped and uprooted near the Stony Hill Road area. So again, that would seem to go along with the narrative of the fact that we're seeing a debris signature in association with this particular tornado warning and the ones that were issued before it following this particular cell. As we zoom out here, one of the other things that's concerning is you see other red polygons in South Carolina and portions of Georgia. Notice that we have a tornado warning over portions of Darlington County, just north north of Florence County. So that this is an event that could last beyond just this particular cell. We keep mentioning the fact that a tornado watch is in effect until 6 p.m. for the entire forecast area, meaning that if you're watching this now, you could see what's happening in places like Newberry, Fairfield, and Saluda County happening later this afternoon between now and 6 p.m. So one other word of caution that I want to throw out there for anybody watching is please bear in mind that during the rush hour time period, we're talking about the potential for some pretty rocky weather. We've been seeing a lot of these traffic cams, and Rachel, I don't know if we have any traffic cams that are showing some heavy precipitation at this particular point in time, but it's been a mess out there in a lot of locations, even outside of this particular warning. We saw one, a traffic cam along I-77, very heavy rainfall. We've got a flash flood watch in effect until 8 p.m., so this is a very active situation, folks. And the most immediate life safety situation continues to be over Newberry County as well as portions of western Fairfield County. But please bear in mind that anybody watching this does have the potential for some additional actions like this to occur later this afternoon. So again, let me zoom in here and talk specifically about Newberry and Fairfield County. And again, I know a lot of folks get upset when we do these long cut-ins, but when we're talking about a tornado warning with a debris signature, that is a life safety situation which could easily result in injuries and death. So this is a certain life safety situation that needs to be addressed. Here's a traffic cam. We're taking a look here in some ominous skies there. Let me take a look. We're at I-95 at mile marker 170. Just in the eastern Midlands there of I-95, where they're seeing some thunderstorm activity. That's not the area where we're seeing the tornado warning, but what you can see there are some ominous skies and certainly the potential there for the severe thunderstorm activity we're seeing here in other portions of the Midlands of South Carolina. Let's talk specifically about this tornado warning that we've got in effect for portions of Newberry and Fairfield County. You can see Peak popping up on the map there, Little Mountain, a location, as well as the Pomeria area were ones outlined by the National Weather Service. But as I mentioned as well, the Lake Murray area is kind of beyond that, but the Monticello Reservoir area, as well as portions of far western I-26 there and the portion of your screen and portions of Newberry County. I really think that Fairfield County really needs to keep an eye on this thing. We're seeing some of the cell activity moving into portions of far western Fairfield County, Parr, Jenkinsville, Monticello Reservoir, Monticello, Highway 213, Highway 34, Highway 176, and Highway 215, and maybe even Highway 269 are areas that certainly need to be on the lookout for the potential for this very potent storm cell, which has had a history of producing debris and radar-confirmed tornadoes. The Weather Service extended this warning. We've had 3 successive warnings, one after another with this one storm cell as it continues to track off towards the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Okay, we're starting to get some new information coming in from the Weather Service, folks. Let's peel this back. The debris signature is weakening, perhaps. It looks like they may be losing it. There is the possibility, though, that this could re-strengthen. We saw this happen over Saluda County. The storm produced a debris signature. It weakened for a bit. It re-strengthened and caused a new tornado warning to be issued for Newberry County. So again, what you need to know at home is that this is a life safety situation. You need to take action immediately. Get to a basement, get to an interior room of your home, get to the lowest floor of your home, get to a sturdy building, avoid windows. I can't emphasize that enough. A lot of people will very dangerously look out the window or try to take pictures or video. That's not a good time to do that. You make yourself vulnerable to debris, to flying glass and things like that. Also, vehicles and mobile homes are not a safe place to be, as well as being outside. Find a safe place, whether that's a church, a store, a neighbor's home, a church, a community center, or something like that, something that is safe and sturdy to ride out the storm. Getting some new storm reports in from the National Weather Service, the 911 call center reporting tornado at 3:14, 4 houses damaged in the vicinity of Schumpert and Macedonia Church Road in the Prosperity area of Newberry County. So there are reports there of 4 homes damaged, again, near the Schumpert and Macedonia Church Road areas of Newberry County, particularly the Prosperity area. So we're getting reports in not just in Georgia, but here in the Midlands of South Carolina, to include portions of Saluda County, to include portions of Newberry County, of storm damage. And now we're getting reports not only of trees down, but of homes damaged. So for those in the news department that are hearing my words, it would be good for us to look into some of these events here, particularly in the Prosperity area, which are being reported by law enforcement, and to see if we have any new pieces of information that we can share with the public or with the National Weather Service. So anybody in the newsroom listening to this, please, any information that can be shared, that can be transmitted to the folks on air, please let me know. Okay, we've got a traffic cam now. This is I-26 West at mile marker 102. A lot of heavy rain shower activity there. I'm trying to see where that is. That appears to be close to the Harbison Boulevard area, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of heavy rain shower activity there. We don't have a tornado warning for that particular portion of our forecast area, but what you can glean from that shot is that rain shower activity is slowing traffic down. You can see a lot of headlights on there, ominous skies, and what we could be seeing is what we're seeing now in places like Newberry and Fairfield County, occurring later this afternoon all the way through 6 p.m. In any county across the Midlands of South Carolina. Let me show you one other thing here before we zoom back in. You can see the satellite radar combination showing still a lot of thunderstorm activity back in Georgia, moving into places or moving close towards places like Aiken County here over the course of the next half an hour or so. So this event is far from over. We still have at least 2 hours and 20 minutes left on this thing, and would not be surprised to see it potentially continue beyond that. As we take a look at the radar here, a lot of lightning in association with these storms, but primarily wind and tornadic activity are the things that have been very troublesome. We've gotten a lot of reports of trees down. We've gotten a lot of reports of homes that have been impacted by this. We've had debris, 2 debris signatures with this thing over the course of 2 warnings, meaning radar confirmed tornado, meaning that the tornado is producing damage. It is taking things like tree branches or trees or pieces of a house or pieces of a vehicle, and that is circulating in the atmosphere and being read by radar. So this is certainly a very dangerous situation. This could be perhaps one of the most dangerous tornado warnings we've been tracking all year long. It's been a long track tornado warning. This thing started in Edgefield County. It went through Saluda County. It's in Newberry County now, pushing into Fairfield County. So that's 4 counties, 3 of which are in our viewing area. And this thing is still holding together. It has weakened a bit. However, bear in mind that the potential is there for this thing to re-intensify again. I'm also concerned with the fact that even if this thing is not producing tornadic activity at the moment, that it could be producing very damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Whenever we have these big severe weather events, sometimes the wind produces more damage than the tornadoes do. So please do not underestimate that. But again, for folks watching, particularly from the Monticello Reservoir, Monticello, Jenkinsville, Parr areas of Fairfield County, you folks really need to heed this warning at this particular point in time. And looking a little further downstream, Winnsboro could potentially be in the crosshairs of this thing. We don't have an active warning for Winnsboro yet, or Rockton, or Ryan, or Simpson, or Highway 34 or 321 closer to Winnsboro, but that's something that certainly is on the table at this particular point in time. So again, western Fairfield County, tornado warning in effect. We have 18 minutes left on this particular warning as it relates to western Fairfield County. Still awaiting new information from the Weather Service, but we have been getting reports in from the Weather Service to include homes damaged near the vicinity of Schumpeter and Macedonia Church Road in Prosperity, or the greater Prosperity area. We've also had reports of trees down from these thunderstorm cells in Georgia. We've also had other reports of wall clouds and funnel clouds spotted by observers and fire folks. Let me see. Let me go back here a little bit. We had trees reported down in Columbia County, Georgia. We also had reports of 60-mile-per-hour winds earlier in Saluda County, especially southwestern Saluda County. So this, again, is a very long track storm that has been producing a lot of damage, in addition to all the other individual cells that you see on the screen there. Keep in mind, we also have that severe thunderstorm warning that extends beyond the tornado warning for portions of Lexington, Richland, Newberry, and Saluda counties because of the damaging wind and hail threats, as well as frequent lightning and heavy rain shower activity. The blue polygon that you see behind that is an aerial flood advisory. That has been issued because of all the heavy rain that occurred in Saluda County and Edgefield counties with this cell and with follow-on cells. So we're talking about a lot of bad things happening over a short period of time, and the window of this is all the way through 6 p.m., but it is possible that some of that could last even beyond 6 p.m. The upstate of South Carolina had some tornado warnings. We had one issued earlier in Lawrence County. The PD area had one in Darlington County, which looks like it's been allowed to expire, but we still have our active tornado warning in southwestern Fairfield County and northeastern Newberry County at this particular point in time. Particularly the Fairfield County area is the area I'm most concerned about as it relates to that. And Rachel, let's take a look at one of the traffic cams if we can, just to kind of paint a better picture of what's happening outside on our local roadways. I'm very concerned with the fact that we're heading into rush hour and we've got a line of storms extending all the way back in Georgia, moving into the Midlands of South Carolina. So this is I-26 west at exit 97. You can see dark skies. Having trouble seeing if there's rain there. It actually doesn't look like if there is. I don't think we're seeing much rain there, but very dark skies. And certainly, pay attention to the sky because it'll tell you what's about to happen to you. Whenever you see skies like that, we're talking about the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms in your area. So if you are working at this particular point in time, if you're leaving school or your job, please bear in mind that you may need to allow yourself some extra time to get home safely this evening, particularly between 5 and 6 o'clock this evening. At the height of rush hour, we could be seeing the height of some of this severe weather. But again, I want to emphasize this active tornado warning. This is spanned 4 counties in the Midlands of South Carolina: Edgefield County, Saluda County, Newberry County, and Fairfield County. And this thing could even get extended beyond that, depending on how if this thing re-intensifies a bit more so than it has been. But this thing has produced debris signatures on radar, meaning that debris has been generated and has been showing up on radar, meaning that we've had damage. We've had reports of homes damaged in the Prosperity area, trees down in the Saluda County area, heavy rain shower activity that has prompted an aerial flood advisory. So the thing to keep in mind, if you live in southwestern Fairfield County right now, the Monticello Reservoir area, Jenkinsville, Monticello, take action immediately. Get to an interior room. Do not try to take video out of a window. Don't go to a window and take pictures or look out and try to see this thing coming. Get into an interior room because you can't have glass shatter producing a lot of stray debris. You can get chopped up and cut up, and it's a very dangerous situation. For folks outside on Monticello Reservoir, that's not a safe place to be. For folks that are in a vehicle, for folks that are in a mobile home, keep in mind vehicles and mobile homes do not fare well in tornadic situations. We had plenty of video of that last night on our broadcast, and we've shown it countless times on the newscast and other storm systems. That is a dangerous situation. Find a safe place, whether it's a neighbor's home, whether it's a community center, a church, a store, something like that. And if you live in another area and you're watching this and you're not in a warning area, think about right now where you might go for safety. If that's your own home, if that's a neighbor's home or something like that, think about it now. If you're not within that warning area, think about what you might have to do if a warning is issued for you later today. Because quite frankly, we've got this tornado watch in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. And this is perhaps the strongest tornado warning that we've seen all year long, with this debris signature twice as the storm continues to track. It's strengthened, it's weakened, it's strengthened, and it's weakened again. It may re-strengthen and continue into Fairfield County. So if you're watching us from Fairfield County, think about the Winnsboro area. Keep a close eye on this storm, please, because this thing could re-intensify and head your way again. And for other folks watching in portions of Lexington and Richland counties, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for you guys, which means that we could still be seeing damaging winds, heavy rain, 3/4-inch hail, and a lot of lightning. Keep in mind that lightning is a major killer when it comes to weather, and it doesn't have to be a severe thunderstorm to produce lightning. It just has to be a thunderstorm. Let's take a look at SkyWatch Doppler radar and zoom into the area we're talking about here as it relates to this red polygon You can see here just to the west of Winsboro still includes portions of Newberry County. We're still awaiting any new updates from the National Weather Service as they come in. I haven't seen anything new come in. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lancaster County until 4:30. Folks, we're going to go ahead and kind of regroup here a little bit as this particular system will continue to produce severe weather, but please bear in mind that tornado warning in effect for Fairfield County and as well as portions of Newberry County for at least 12 more minutes. We're going to go ahead and regroup here for a minute, but bear in mind that what's happening now there and what has happened over the course of the last hour or so can happen in other locations across the Midlands of South Carolina. So please, if you live outside of one of these warning areas, consider what you would do if a warning was issued for your area and know what to do. Know the difference between a watch, which means conditions are possible, and a warning, which means conditions are happening now. I'm Skywatch meteorologist Justin Kier. We'll continue to break into programming with new tornado warnings if they're issued, and we'll continue to keep you posted online and on social media.